Do I look like Mama Smurf?
There is no Mama Smurf.
There is now. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Elle. I do mostly bookish videos on a somewhat weekly basis. It has been a while since I've done wrap-ups. I stopped doing them at the beginning of the year because I just felt very pressured with summarizing books, and also I was reading a lot of books a month, or at least more than what I was used to, thanks to ebooks and Kindle desktop. But these last 2 months I have read some really incredible books and I wanted to share them with you. So let's talk about some books I've recently read. And these are books that I enjoyed in November and December. I will do a separate video with my favorites of 2020. So the first book that I really enjoyed was Wicked Saints by Emily Duncan, and it is the first book in the Something Dark and Holy series, and I gave this book a 4 stars. This book focuses on Seraphim, Nadia, and Malachias, who each have their own unique power source. Although they are supposed to be enemies, they all want to put an end to the war that is ravaging their countries, but they each have their own ideas as to how to accomplish that. This was a complex and mystifying high fantasy that absolutely blew me away. The plot and the interpersonal relationships that the characters had was done so well. I was intrigued the whole way through. There was an enemies to lovers romance that just really hit the spot and I loved it. I will say Seraphim and Malachias, as well as their people, their country, do use blood magic as their primary source of magic, so there is a lot of self-harm and very detailed depictions of blood. If you are triggered by that, I would definitely not read this book because it is constant throughout the book. It even made me uncomfortable at times. You know, it's not something that I'm normally triggered by, but it's mentioned so often in such detail that I would warn you of that. Overall, I was really hesitant because of the complexity of this book, but I truly enjoyed it and I really enjoyed book 2 as well. Next, I want to talk about 1,000 Pieces of You by Claudia Gray, which is the first book of her Firebird series, and I gave this a 5 stars. I briefly mentioned it in my Christmas tree tag. I really love this book. So it is a sci-fi centered around multiple dimensions that honestly captured my attention right from the start. Just trust me when I say it is a damn good book. I will warn you though, it is from like 2014, so there are some like pretty classic YA elements, but it really clicked with me and I don't know, I feel like it's a book that a lot of people would enjoy, but don't take my word on that in case you all hate it. So this book focuses on Margaret, who is forced to travel into alternate universes, chasing down her father's killer alongside family friend Theo. But when she gets trapped in an alternate universe with the killer right beside her and no sign of Theo, things get a little murky. There is a love triangle, or is it a square? And it is one of my favorite aspects of the book. I love it. The romance. Done very well. Another book I gave 5 stars was Rules for Being a Girl by Candace Bushnell, and this is a hard-hitting contemporary which I absolutely love. I love it when contemporary books hit me with like a hard theme or, you know, just really touch me and make me emotional, which this book did. So this book is about Marin, who is a star student and editor of her school newspaper with dreams of attending Brown. She has the support of her family and friends and her cool English teacher, Mr. Beckett. But after Bex crosses a line, Marin starts to doubt herself. Had she somehow led him on? Was it her fault? The school doesn't believe her and Bex is allowed to continue teaching, and so Marin is forced to see him every day, and now she has a target on her back. Marin decides to use this anger, let this injustice fuel her to try and change things at her school. She starts a feminist book club and begins to open her eyes as to the double standards and rules for the girls around her. And I really love that aspect that Marin didn't back down. I think it can really be an inspiration for other people. I also really loved the portrayal of her family and the way her family supported her from the start. There was never any doubts. They had her back 100%. There was just this unconditional love and support. I can only hope that anyone who has had to go through an experience like this, I would hope that they would have that same love and support from their family. It was definitely a food for thought kind of book, and I really enjoyed it. I also read Unearthed by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner, which is the first book of their duology, and I gave it a 4 stars. It is another great sci-fi where Earth is basically dying, as you know, it is. And the only thread of hope is a transmission from some ancient, advanced, long dead alien race who ironically enough called themselves the Undying. Apparently, the advanced technology they left behind has the potential to undo all the environmental damage humans have done and save the Earth from dying because, of course, humans would try to take the easy way out instead of changing our habits. With the transmission's instructions, Earth opens a portal to the Undying's former planet, Gaia. But of course, not everyone on Gaia has noble intentions. Scholars like Jules are hoping to study and learn from the artifacts that were left behind, but scavengers like Amelia just want to loot and make a quick buck. After some bad luck, they're forced to work together to penetrate a temple that could hold all the answers Jules is looking for and hopefully something valuable enough for Amelia. The deeper they go into the booby-trapped temple, the more they wonder if the Undying were actually trying to help humankind. I really loved the cryptic mystery aspect of this book. I imagine this is what an Indiana Jones movie would be like. Even though I've never seen an Indiana Jones movie, but I'm making an educated guess here. The beginning was pretty meh, which I understand they're having to set up the characters, set up the circumstances, but that is why I gave it a 4 stars. I do feel like the beginning wasn't as strong as the middle or end. I also didn't entirely love the characters. This is a book where instead of the characters keeping me going, it was really the plot and the mystery that kept me going, and I really enjoyed it. I think it paid off. I really like books like this, you know, kind of Da Vinci Code, archaeology, cryptic riddle type of books. You know what I mean? If you know what I mean and you have any other suggestions for books like these, please leave them in the comments down below because I really want to read more books like that. And finally, another book that I read that I really enjoyed, which might shock some people, is Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo. This is the second book in the Grisha trilogies, and I gave it a 4 stars, I believe. I can't say too much about the plot because obviously it's a sequel, so I don't want to give anything away. A lot of people don't like this book because they feel like not a lot happened in terms of plot, and I get that, I agree, but I am a character lover, and so getting to see the characters kind of grow or just interact with each other was really enjoyable to me. And that ending though, I was listening to the audiobook and I audibly gasped at moments. I really enjoyed this book. I enjoyed it a lot more than I did book 1. I'm excited to see where the series goes and how it all wraps up. And also, Mal is not that bad. Just saying. Like, I get why you guys hate him, but he's not that bad. And I might do a discussion video on Mal because I think Mal is just misunderstood. And that's it to this video. Those were the books that I've read recently that I've really enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. My name is Elle. Let's end 2020 strong, and I'll see you in next time's video. That is hard to do in retainers, my goodness.